It's time now for Toy Tengoku, brought to you by HobbyLink Japan.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Ardith, and we are here for the second episode of the new year.
Yay.
And we have two nifty things to show off. I'm going to be showing off Future's EX Gokeen EX Arale-chan from Dr. Slump.
Arale-chan.
Yeah, and what have you got there?
I have this wonderful item. This is Lelouch V. Britannia in his awesome Emperor outfit. Ooh. This is going to be wonderful. I can hardly wait to get this thing out of the box because this is going to be amazing to look at.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Let's do it. Arale-chan comes in a really excellent box. I mean, the box has really neat graphics on it. Fully in keeping with the spirit of Dr. Slump.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the best Arale-chan I've ever seen.
I love the picture on the back of the box.
Showing you
aerial view of Penguin Village.
Penguin Village. There it is, complete with the pterodactyl.
Yay. We all know a pterodactyl makes everything better.
That's right. Pterodactyls twice a day. Keep the doctor away. Now, but inside the package is the wonderful, wonderful Arale-chan. Not only Arale-chan, but also Gachan.
Oh boy. Yeah, you can't have Arale without Gachan, basically.
I would have been sad if there was no Gachan. Here we go. This is the loot that you get inside, plus a stand.
Wow. And it comes in a cooler.
Here we go. So we'll start with Arale-chan. You get Arale-chan. You get the little bit of hair that goes on the back of her head, too. Although you should keep the little bit of hair off for when you put her fine hat on her Arale cap. And the cap just kind of scooch down on her head. And there you have Arale-chan. She's got actual cloth clothes.
Wow.
And they attach with Velcro up the back. And her body, this is, Gokeen, so it's die-cast. The body itself is, I think the inner workings is die-cast, and then it's like, and she's got like metal joints, but it's plastic on the outside. And she's all jointed and nicely articulated. Of course, she's a robot.
Yeah, so it's appropriate for her to have die-cast parts.
That's only fitting.
Absolutely.
So if you want her without the hat, she does have the little bit of hair that goes up on top of her head.
And you have to put it in just right.
Yep, they have a little slot in there so that you can only put it on one way.
I guess I never knew she had one of those things on top of her head.
There were a lot of things where in the manga, as we keep the whole run of the manga in the bathroom because it's the appropriate place to put it. But in the manga, you just kind of read along and go, yeah. But when you see the character in 3D, there's all these things that you never really picked up on in the manga, like the little hank of hair and the fact that sometimes she wears gloves and sometimes she doesn't. I had never caught that.
Yeah. I like the little swirls of hair on the sides of her head that kind of stick out. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. I mean, she is sculpted right on model. She is excellent. She has little glasses. The glasses have lenses in them.
Oh, wow.
She has interchangeable faces. And
As do we all.
The neat thing about the faces is that they're magnetically attached. So you just pop off her bangs. Then the head attaches magnetically.
Ah!
Hi! Bloop. Goes right on. And pop the hair back on. And then put the glasses in there. And she has the change of... That's her. Hoo-yo-yo! Hoo-yo-yo!
That's awesome.
Okay, but for the exciting scene recreation that we're going to do, we need the other head. So again, we just pop that off. Bloop. The glasses kind of slide into there. They don't just sit on there. You need to kind of push them in to get them to stay. I had a Popey. I still do. It's back in storage back home. A Popey of about the same size as this.
Is that
It may have been a tad smaller, and she had an action where you push the button on the back and her arm would go up to go, "Cha!"
Is that the one that had the soft hair, or did that have molded hair?
That did have soft hair, yeah.
Okay,
But the glasses didn't have lenses. And so this is really neat to...
Yeah, that is a neat detail. It's something that you don't see all the time.
Sometimes Arale-chan has gloves, and sometimes she doesn't. While I'm putting the gloved hands, you get 2, 4, 6, 8 pair of hands.
8 pair of hands or 8 hands?
4 pair of hands,
4 pair of
5
hands.
including these she's got on. So while I'm changing those out, I'll just put Gachan here. Why don't you play with Gachan a little bit?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, here's a little freaky little alien Gachan.
Koopa koopa.
And this too is very well sculpted. You can see they did a really nice job on the texture of Gachan's hair. And Gachan's got the little wings out back, because of course Gachan can fly and do all kinds of mischievous things. This Gachan is not jointed. This is just kind of a static display figure, but as I said earlier, you absolutely cannot have Arale without Gachan. And she only comes with 1 Gachan, even though in the manga sometimes she has 2 Gachans
Oh,
to play with.
yeah, there was a second Gachan later in the series. Of course, Gachan is short for Gajira, which is a cross between Godzilla and Gamera.
And she is pretty monstrous in her own way, or its own way, I guess. Did they ever really establish whether Gachan was a he or a she?
I don't think so.
I guess it would probably be best to refer to Gachan as an it, probably, because we
I
don't
think
know.
it was assumed she was a she because she didn't have that which makes a little boy a little boy. But here we go. So now we have the gloved hands on. And in the instructions, they call these the keen hands.
Oh.
Because Arale would take off and go, keen, like that. So
That's
you
for
can,
running action.
if you like, you can put her on her right lead rather than her left lead and have her go, keen.
Oh, she killed
Gachan.
Gachan. Oh, that's horrible.
And there's a handy little stand. Well, this is kind of freaky, this little prong jobby, but I guess that's to, what would you call that? To set her little butt in.
Doll collectors have a really rude term for that, but I'm not going to repeat that because it's a family show. So.
You can put her well off
That's
the ground.
great. Look at her go. For great levitation action there.
Get her leg out. There we go.
Yay, there she goes.
She's doing the keen thing. Keen. Koopoo, koopoo. But best of all, I mean, this is an excellent Arale-chan. This is way better than the Popey, and the Popey was excellent. But you know, the Popey was also made in the mid '80s, and technology has come a long, long way. That Arale didn't have what this Arale has.
Best accessory ever.
This was something that I had never noticed in the manga, is that she doesn't carry a poop on a stick without wearing glasses. I mean, not glasses, without wearing gloves.
I
All
wouldn't
these
want to
G
carry a
words, they
poop on a
confuse
stick
me.
without wearing my glasses.
Yeah,
Mom.
I just never, you think of Arale, yeah, she runs around with a poop on a stick. But she's got gloves on.
Well, sure, you're gonna want to have
I never,
gloves on
I never
when
put
you're
that
handling
together. I
poop.
just think, yeah, Arale equals running around with poop on a stick.
A
But she
common
is
mistake.
wearing gloves. There we go. And she is quite delighted with her poop on a stick.
Best accessory ever in the history of the universe ever.
And you can pose her running with it, should you desire. So that's it. It is the best accessory ever, isn't it?
It is. There's nothing better.
And, of course, you can share the joy with other figures, dolls that you may own, because since the hand does come off, the poop on a stick is not removable from the hand. I don't think. No, the poop is not removable from a hand. But if your other figure doesn't mind carrying around a hand with the poop on a stick,
Hey,
you can,
say.
let's call Albert.
Hey, Albert.
Hey, Albert.
Maybe Albert Einstein would like to get in on that poop in a stick
Who
action.
wouldn't, man? Here we go. Here comes Albert with his poop on a stick.
He's got it. He's found the secret to the universe.
Wow.
It's poop on a stick.
Can he run like RLA?
He probably can, but I don't think that stand is going to work with him.
I'll go ahead and pose him and they can...
They can do the keying thing together.
She's getting hold of my microphone. She has to say, ho yo yo. There we go.
Yay! Ah, wait for me. Got Arale-chan. Yay!
Gachan is nonplussed. All right.
As is the audience, probably.
That is excellent. Okay, so Arale-chan. I am thrilled with my Arale-chan. This is the one that I bought. I bought it for myself. I had to have it. And in fact, we actually have them on sale right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey.
It's part of our Gokeen sale that's going on at this moment on HobbyLink, HLJ.com.
Mm-hmm.
I am really, really happy with Arale-chan because I've liked Dr. Slump since I was an exchange student in Japan back in the misty, misty years of 1980 when it was just a manga before it had been animated.
Wow.
So I really liked my Popey from the mid-'80s, but this just blows that Popey
this
away.
is pretty amazing.
And it's die-cast, so it has the die-cast inner body, so it's got a nice heft to it. And highly, highly recommended. Futures, EX, Gokeen, Arale-chan.
Yay!
How can you even top that? You can't top Arale-chan.
You can't. You can't. He comes from Mega House, and you can tell because he comes in a mega box. This is Lelouch v Britannia from Code Geass, part of Mega House's GEM line of male figures. And that's good because there's way too many female figures, if you ask me. It's nice that they're giving male figures some love.
What's the GEM? Like,
you know, I forgot to look it up. I forgot to look it up. I'm sure it stands for something. I'm sure it stands for something, but I forgot to look it up. I'm sorry, you caught me. So anyway, this is this fairly massive figure, as you can see. It's a pretty good-sized box. And we're going to go ahead and take him out of the box. And I'm going to have to stand up to do it because it's that big of a box.
it's pretty neat. It's got openings on the side and in the front, so if you want to keep them in the box, you can...
Although with a figure this cool, I'm thinking it's better to take it out of the box. Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Kind of in his plastic clamshell here, or clamp shell, if you will, because after all, the character design is done by clamp.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
I'm pretty clever, aren't I? All right. That's pretty fabulous. Here he is, out of the box and fully assembled. Lelouch v Britannia from Code Geass by Mega House. And this is pretty incredible. You may have noticed he has this amazing cloak that he's wearing. I'm just going to rotate the figure really slowly here so that we can appreciate the really great sculpting that's gone into this cloak and the sense of motion in it.
You know, there's a lot of people that would like to tell him to go rotate.
Well, I'm sure there are. But
that's neat the way it's swirling and
it's
back.
amazing. You know, that's the thing. I can draw a little bit, but I've never been able to sculpt. And I really, really, when you see something like this, I can really appreciate the gift that you have to be able to depict something like that that's in motion and moving like that. I mean, that is just amazing to me. I mean, he's in the middle of making a grand imperious gesture, and you know, his cloak and his whatever you call that is swirling around and everything. And this is just an incredible figure. You don't have to display him with the cloak. He can be shown off without it. And in that case, he's got this other arm that he can be displayed wearing. I didn't realize until I took the cloak out of the packaging, but there's actually another arm inside that cloak, and the cloak actually attaches by way of the peg on the arm that goes right into his body in the shoulder joint, which is actually a pretty secure way to attach it to the figure, and that's pretty ingenious. I guess I never thought about it before, but that's actually a really pretty amazing piece of engineering. And this part just sort of drapes over his shoulder. It just sort of hangs there. But that looks good too. They did a wonderful job with this. Sometimes when I do a write-up, I'll say something like, this figure looks good from any angle. And there are some figures that don't look good from any angle. There are some figures that look good from one angle and that's it. But this guy, I think he falls into the category of looks good from a lot of different angles. Because you can I mean, he can be pointing at something off in the distance, or he can be, you know, pointing off into the middle of your room or whatnot. And he's just incredible no matter what angle you look at him from. Beautiful paint job. It's got some really nice shading over here. I'm going to turn him around so that we can look at this particularly nice bit of shading on his...
A little decoration is
Yeah, he's
really
got these little...
neat, especially in around his waist area.
Well, they kind of look like Christmas tree light bulbs to me, frankly.
He'd make a great angel for the top of your Christmas
He would.
tree.
He would. I think he'd be a fantastic thing for the top of your Christmas tree. I mean, that's a little out of season, but what the heck? You know, think outside the box, right?
Hey, Christmas is coming.
He also has 2 additional heads. I'm not going to mess around trying to put these heads on him, but he has 2 more facial expressions that he can wear. So that's pretty incredible too. So this figure's got a lot of display options. You get a lot of fun for this figure. He's really cool. Mega House always does a good job. I really enjoy their stuff, and this is just another step forward for Mega House, and another step forward for those of us that like to collect male figures. Thank you, Mega House. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We salute you.
We salute you, Mega House. Thank you.
And it's time now for questions.
Oh boy, our favorite part of the show.
Yes, yes. Questions from the folks who are kind enough to watch.
And kind enough to leave comments for us.
That's right.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
A question. Now this is about our last episode from last year where it was the reindeer, where it was
Yes.
X the Unknown Reindeer.
And Stinker.
That's right. On the loose in HLJ's warehouse. A question. You was an HLJ for the figures? I guess so that was the portion where we were in figures. Were we in HLJ when we were in the warehouse?
Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
As a matter of fact, right now, we're in HLJ.
And if you walk out of that door that y'all can't see, and walk, what, maybe 15, 20 steps,
Probably, yeah.
you'll be in the warehouse.
Yep, can walk right out there. As a matter of fact, if you walk about 20 steps further than that, you get to your and my desks. I'd rather walk to the warehouse.
I'd rather be in the warehouse.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, so yeah, we are in HLJ then and now and right here. It's all around us.
HLJ is everywhere.
We wouldn't have it any other way. And that's why this is the Toy Tengoku, because HLJ is the Toy Tengoku.
Absolutely.
We are here. Now, Godzilla looks amazing. This would have been the SH
Oh,
Figure
yeah.
Arts.
Monster Arts.
Monster Arts.
SH Monster Arts Godzilla.
Godzilla looks amazing. Is the tail sturdy with all that mobility?
Yeah, the tail was very sturdy. It's a very solid, heavy figure. I mean, it's surprisingly, I don't have him here with me, but he's surprisingly heavy, very solid, and the tail is very sturdy. He balances on it really well, and it flexes, and it's quite sturdy even when it's actually kind of stiff. To flex it requires a little bit of effort on your part, and it's got a stiffness to it that gives it a real sense of, you know, it's solid and it's not going to keel over on you. So yeah, it's a good sturdy piece, definitely.
Cool. And now, if you're covering the Play Arts Kai Arkham Asylum figures, does that mean you'll also feature the Metal Gear Solid figures from Play Arts Kai too?
Yeah, I definitely want to look at those. I understand that the release date on those has been delayed a little bit, so now they're expected to be out sometime during the month of March. But I do hope to take a look at those, because those are pretty cool too. Yeah. I'm looking forward
Boy,
to
I
being able
would
to
have
see
really
those.
liked to have taken the Arkham Asylum figures out. In last week's episode, we saw them out in the warehouse with the Batman and the Joker, but we don't have enough quantities that we're able to actually take them out and play with them, because I don't think you would want to get one that's already been opened and played with by us. So yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get a closer look at those. Curious, would you two be doing a review on the 2011 Miku Hatsune Racing Figma figure by Good Smile Company?
We would love to. Unfortunately, we can only bring you reviews of things that we ourselves can sell. And that figure was not sold by anybody except one place called Nico Nico Chokuhan. It was also only for sale between June 22nd and August 8th of 2011. And in order to get that Figma, you had to buy a sponsorship for their racing team. And the prices started at 7,000 yen, and they went up from there. And very few of that figure were made available, and I don't even know what she's going for on the secondary market. I would love to be able to bring you a review of that figure, because I think she's a fantastic figure, but we can't sell her, and we don't have her. I'm really sorry. I'd love to be able to, but we just can't. I'm
And
sorry.
there are so many things that are produced, you know, and a lot of them
Yeah.
are limited and only done for certain markets
Yeah.
or only available
Yeah.
through certain distributors, and I wish we could get everything.
Oh man, me too. It's Good Smile does some really cute stuff, but we can't get all of it, unfortunately.
It's kind of scary as much as we were able to get, but there's still more out
There's
there.
still more, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, I got one.
Oh boy.
What was Japan like as an exchange student in 1980, as I've alluded to? It must have been even more of a culture shock and adventure than it is now in the age of the internet. Yeah, because like imagine a world where there is no internet.
No.
I got to call my folks once, and that was a big deal to make a telephone call, you know, internationally. There were no electronics. There were no video games. There was a video game, like in the States, there was Pong. You could go down to the Sears
I
and
remember
Roebuck
Pong.
and play Pong. It was
remember
expensive.
Pong.
You couldn't buy it for yourself. But in Japan, that was when they had tabletop Space Invaders games were out that year. So that's about where that stood in the world of video games. And
What was you got to see a lot of anime on TV when you were there?
I did. I think there was more on regular TV then than there is now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
now
you're
there's some
probably
nighttime
right.
things, but mainly there's like you know, like
Dramas?
yeah, but mainly the anime you'll see if you want to see a lot of it. It's like on the cable shows, like
yeah.
you know, Cartoon Network or Animax. What's it?
Wow Wow and
Kids Station.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, in the evenings there would be anime. During the mornings there would be anime. Man, I don't know. I'd be watching like Baldios and Lupin the Third and Gatchaman Fighter and boy, what else was running?
Ashitano Joe?
Yeah, well, Ashitano Joe was rerun on weekdays, like Diapolon and Kyashan. So we got to see some neat stuff that were in reruns then. And I got to see Yamato Yotoani, Be Forever Yamato in the theater.
Oh wow.
And so
That's amazing.
there weren't so many anime fans then. It was pretty soon after the Yamato boom. The Yamato boom was like in '77. So there weren't people who really thought of themselves as fans. You just liked anime. And whereas now, you know,
Being a fan is kind of an industry now.
yeah.
I mean, I think HobbyLink wouldn't be here if there wasn't that fan industry. But yeah, it's fandom has become a whole industry, and the industry feeds the fandom.
The range of toys today is completely different from what
Oh,
there
yeah.
was back then
Yeah.
too. And I've read that was in response to like because video games caught on. So that's when the toy manufacturers are like, oh, we have to, you know, let's push things like figures and all. Let's aim for things other than, you know, the kids who would be watching, you know, because there are people who are older that enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so let's push things, you know. So now
Maybe
you've
people
got-
that wouldn't want to be playing with something, but would want like a display piece
Right.
of a character that they liked or
Right.
something like
You
that.
didn't see much in the way of display pieces back then.
I guess I never thought about that, but you know, you're right. I think you're right.
You know, and the technology has come so much further in
Oh, yeah.
what, like, you know, with this die-cast RLH wow, just you get much more realistic proportions in the things now.
Yeah, and I think the way this figure's clothing is moving, I think that this would have been really difficult to cast and mold 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
30 years
now
ago.
it's less of a problem because we've, you know, so many advancements have been made, but I think back then you were kind of limited to figures that just were standing there wearing relatively simple clothing.
There's a lot more foreigners in Japan now than there were back then too.
Yep.
I was probably the only foreigner for, well, quite a ways. I remember a little kid ventured up to me. I
I've
told
heard
you
this
the story.
before.
Ventured up to me and said, "Hello." I said, "Hi, little kid." And he wet his pants. Yeah.
Awesome.
You couldn't have that happen today. Well, you could, but it
More's
takes a
the
lot
pity.
more effort. Yes.
That's
So yeah,
fantastic.
it was a much different world in 1980.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd really like to go back then somewhere. Somewhere I have in my mind somewhere in Japan there is that world of Showa. It must still be there somewhere. But the rest of Japan, I mean, just Japan today is a completely different
Yeah.
world.
I
love
like it now, though.
Yeah, I
It's-
like it,
it's
like it
pretty
just
cool
as
now.
much.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I have
absolutely.
very fond memories of that. So yeah, and a final question for this time. Ardith and Robin, since you both enjoy old anime series and manga, is there one series that both of you can recommend to the audience to watch? One old anime series.
One series to rule them all.
What you think?
Space Cruiser Yamato.
Whoa. Space Battleship Yamato.
whatever.
Well, the English said Space Cruiser Yamato.
Whatever.
I think Yamato, huh? First
Yes.
Yamato series from
Any of them.
1974.
Any of them.
I think the first Yamato series has something that the others,
Mm-hmm.
that Yamato 2 and Yamato 3 and any of the movies after that really
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
I'm basically thinking of Yamato as a
As
whole
a
big
genre?
lump. Yeah, as a whole big
Yeah.
genre. Yeah.
Because Saraba Yamato, I mean the Arrivederci Yamato.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
that's
one
like
of my
getting punched
all-time
in the
favorite.
gut. That's
Yeah.
like getting punched in the gut.
But the first series, there was just, of course, watching it in the U.S., there's just something so alien to it because it was. I
Yeah.
mean, it sure wasn't like Hanna-Barbera things that were
No,
on
not
TV
at all.
then. But there's other good things. But he only said one. But I mean, what about like Lupin the Third?
Lupin the Third is not science fiction, but yeah, Lupin the Third is
Old
awesome.
anime series, though.
Old
Yeah.
anime series. Yes, Lupin the Third is also a good one.
Oh, not. I don't think of this as being old, but come to think of it, it's over a decade now. Is Cowboy Bebop?
Cowboy Bebop is excellent.
That is an
Yes,
excellent,
absolutely
excellent show.
excellent.
In fact, I'm ashamed to admit that at New Year's they had it on two competing channels. They had a marathon of Tiger and Bunny and marathon of Cowboy Bebop. I went for Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, those are our near and dear favorites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Urashimon is really good too. That might be overlooked.
Okay.
Giant Gorg.
Okay, I'm not as familiar
Okay,
with
I
those
know
two
it's both
as,
of us.
as I might
Okay,
be.
we'll go
so-
with Yamato. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this time.
Hey.
There's some more questions, but we'll cover them next time.
Absolutely.
And if you've got more new questions to come on.
Leave them in the comments.
Absolutely, please.
And we do appreciate your watching. Please continue.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep bringing you more cool stuff to see here from Hobbylink Japan.
Yeah. We've got a slew of great new items that have come in.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of candidates to cover next time. I
Mhm.
haven't really picked out something yet because there's just so many. I got to take a look and choose. What have you got? Anything special in mind? Or
I got a couple things I'm thinking about. We'll just see what I decide on.
all shall be revealed
All shall be revealed
next week.
next episode.
And we will see you then
Mm-hmm.
on Toy Tengoku.
Love and peace.